This YCN segment is brought to you by H.R. Clough and Kearsarge Heating, your local energy specialist.
Welcome in, YCN Sports Talk. Jeremy Stout, and joining me this week is the Executive Director of the Lebanon Area Chamber of Commerce, Rob Taylor. Rob, thanks for coming back.
Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays.
Yes, same to you. The final show of 2018 will be off next week, day after Christmas. So, Rob, you get to go out with a bang and end the year on a high note. Let's hope one of our New England teams can end the year on a high note. The New England Patriots, we'll start off with them after a little bit of a whimper on Sunday, their second straight loss. First time it's happened in a while, 2 straight losses in December for this Bill Belichick team. How worried are you? And just talk about that game. That was a little disappointing.
It was an absolute tough one to watch. I watched the game with my 18-year-old son, and we were just about throwing things at the TV and cussing and,
right.
and groaning, and it was really difficult to watch. Even though I thought that the Patriots D played okay, they did give up some runs right up the middle, and
right.
that rookie running back kind of cut them up a little bit. But they held the Steelers to 17 points, which if we were able to get anything going offensively, would have probably been enough to actually win the game. But I just did not like what I saw from the Patriots offense. I thought Brady looked lackluster, totally not himself. I mean, this is the first time, or one of the only times they've lost 2 in a row in December in
right.
a long time. So this doesn't bode well for us. There's some stuff on the internet about maybe Brady is injured. There was some video of him clutching his knee in the Miami game.
Yep.
So he just didn't look crisp. I mean, Edelman's dropping balls.
Right.
So
which is the biggest concern? You mentioned the run defense giving up some big runs. You mentioned Brady, so there's 2 of the 3, the lack of offense, the run defense, and then the penalties. I mean, that's so out of character for this Patriots team. 14 penalties, including multiple false starts, holding penalties, Edelman with 2 penalties. If you were to say which is the biggest of those concerns going forward, what would think it would be for those 3?
Definitely the penalties seem to be the difference maker in this game this last weekend against the Steelers. It was like 14 penalties for hundreds of yards, and of course really bad timing penalties. They were, when they needed to, make a play, penalties. It was, as I said, very frustrating. So that one to me is, the good news and the bad news at the same time. If they can clean that up, it just seems like they just weren't on this last game, and actually really 2 weeks in a row that they haven't been on. And Brady not looking like himself. So to me, I would say if I'm looking at things, the penalties,
right.
something we can certainly fix really easily.
Right, exactly. It can be easily fixed. It seems like it's a problem on the road, which obviously you're going to have to win on the road if you don't get the number 1 seed. The defense, it seemed like they gave the Steelers the run. They played a lot of defensive backs, so they were saying, hey, if the Steelers want to beat us with the run, they can. Mm-hmm. And I think that's why, they didn't score that many points because they were running the ball, taking time off the clock. So it was almost like a game plan thing with the defense. That offense, though, that concerns me with the way, we've talked about Gronk all season. He hasn't been effective. And now Edelman dropping balls, penalties. So they got a lot to fix. And if they do only get the number 3 seed, where they sit right now, would they be able to win the Super Bowl? 3 playoff games, probably 2 of them on the road, or is that just asking too much for this team?
It may be that we're finally starting to see the end here. But we've been around long enough. I think that he would say we never bet against them. It really is. They're so well coached that they could turn it around and they could actually pull this out. But it's going to be a real uphill battle this year. They're going to have to win in a wild card situation,
right.
probably against a team like the Ravens, who are going to be a tough win to make. It's not all hope lost yet at this point. But I am starting to see the chinks in the armor. I think definitely the way that our 3 best receivers in that game played. Gronk seems to be a shell of his former self lately. I can't put my finger on what his issue is. He's just not the physical specimen I think that he once was out there. He's not sort of, just bowling over guys like he always has been. And like I said, Edelman looking sloppy. That was a concern for me. I think he and is it Brown that they only combined for 3 catches in this last game for like 30 yards.
Right, yeah, especially after Edelman has had a couple nice games.
Yeah, the week before, those two guys actually combined for hundreds of yards.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. It just was lackluster is the way that I'm describing it.
Right, and hopefully that is behind them now. They're back at home, obviously, for the final 2 weeks, this coming week against the Bills, then against the Jets. 2 wins they should get, and maybe that'll get them rolling before the playoffs. So we got a couple weeks left in the regular season. We'll talk some more playoff scenarios in our final segment, and hopefully the Patriots can get the win this week at home against the Bills. We'll take a break, come back. We'll talk about a team who is having some real success on the floor. That's the Boston Celtics. So we'll talk about them when we come back. You're watching YCN Sports Talk.